Welcome back, Rebels.
This is our final episode in this 6-part mini-series.
This has been very fun.
It's been good, isn't it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this.
But a bit bloody intense. You might want to take a break between episodes to let it all sink in. And take notes as well, because I find on podcasts you can kind of listen and
not really take it all in. Yeah, I feel like taking notes is really important. Like, I carry a little book around with me everywhere. Like, it's literally right here. But that is, I just use it for any time I'm listening to something on the train, if I'm just sat at home listening to something and there's an interesting thing said, I just write it down, because I feel like the art of writing it down makes you learn it so much better. And it's great to be able to just refer back to it as well, because sometimes I was like, cool, I'm not going to listen to any podcast, not going to do anything, I'm just going to go through my book and just look through the notes. And you find that by going back and jogging your memory, you're like, well, what was that about when I said that? And then you remember it. It allows you to remember it even better. Like, it sticks a lot deeper in your consciousness when you go back to it and do it over and over again.
Yeah, I think the fact that for these last 5 episodes, we've not had scripts. We had some rough bullet points that we were going to talk about. And the fact that we were able to talk for sort of 20 to 30 minutes on each topic goes to show that we've learned this stuff, and that just happens through repetition, through doing, and just constantly like wanting to learn, wanting to improve.
Because they say, don't they, as soon as you can teach someone else how to do it, that's when you know it. And I think that's a really powerful thing. And that's why I kind of advocate you don't have to be an expert at something. You don't have to be the best person in the world at something. As long as you know more than someone else about it, you can teach them. Like, think about the amount of people who you probably come across and like, oh, did you see this thing on the news? Oh, did you hear this? And then they'll tell you about it. They're teaching you. They're just teaching you what they've just learned.
Yeah, I know a lot of creatives get really frustrated when they see people out there making like a huge successful living, and it's clear that their craft is not to the level of yours. So those people who are doing that, they've got to the stage where they're good enough that people will want them and will pay for them. And the reason that they're doing really good is because they've learned all of the other side, like marketing and getting people to actually pay attention to them. So they're actually, although their craft may not be up to standard of like someone who's elite in that, if they understand marketing and how to get attention, then they're going to do better. Yeah,
there's a huge frustration in the creative community around people seeing other people doing a lot better than them when they know their actual craft is better. And so it's so frustrating. Like, I've had it in the past, and I know so many people experience the same thing where they're like, it's so annoying that they're doing so well because my work is better than theirs. I know it is, but so how is it happening? And that's just because they've gone through all the steps we've done previously. They've branded themselves well. They know how to market themselves. They know how to sell their product. So by doing all of those, it allows you to succeed. Like, you have to do all of the things together. Just creating is not going to get you everything.
So we mentioned there that we're always learning and growing. And one thing I say a lot is that we would have gone out of business a long time ago. I mean, and there's a lot of different stats online, but I mean, generally most businesses fail before the first 5 years. I think the stat is like 50% that most people kind of say. Whatever it is, it's a lot of people that do fail. And had we not grown and adapt and continued to learn, we would have been within that percentage of people that had gone out of business. Our business continues to evolve. We continue to bring in new technologies, experiment with new techniques and all of this sort of stuff. And that's what keeps us fresh, current. We're always working with younger artists who can teach us something. We're working with older artists who have more experience than us. Wherever we can learn, we're trying to learn so that we stay current and relevant.
Yeah, like I know something you always say is you are the average of the content you consume, and we consume a lot of content that's helping us in the direction we want to go. So we don't watch loads of Netflix. We don't watch loads of kind of entertaining television, I suppose. Our time will be spent learning, and learning when it's for the cause you believe in is really, really fun, because everything you're doing is helping you to achieve what you want to achieve. So we'll consume lots of audiobooks, lots of podcasts, lots of, I watch a lot of YouTube tutorials and a lot of YouTube videos on kind of like growth, how to improve my craft, like all sorts of different things. And that'll be from like the moment I wake up till almost the time I go to bed. It's just kind of absorbing a lot of content that I'm learning from. I do still consume entertaining content because I'm not a robot, but I try not to waste my time. I try to make sure that every minute I have is really valuable, especially in the early stages. Like when you're first starting, if I could go back now, I'd have watched a lot less kind of like pointless crap TV. I'd have just put a lot more time into learning, because in the past few years, it's really, really changed like our lives and our businesses by just constantly learning things.
It took me 10 years to fall back in love with learning because I had such negative experiences within the education system. And I think a lot of people feel that way, and learning seems like it might be this boring thing that it was when you were studying.
Yeah, I remember like people at school being like, I can't wait to finish school so I don't have to learn anymore.
Yeah. But actually, when you're learning on your own terms, and I mean, just you guys listening to this podcast, we know that you are learners. We know that you're trying to achieve something. So you're definitely on the right track. So continue that. But then also, I would say the best way to learn is by doing. So you can read every single business book in the world. It's not going to prepare you for what you're going to learn. There's just little things are going to happen. Like things are going to come up with clients. Like say you're putting on your first event. That is such a steep learning curve. You'll realize that you haven't charged your guests enough because you forgot to take into account that you're going to have to hire in chairs. Just like all of these mad things that happen that for the next time you're totally prepared, but you only learn by doing and throwing yourself in.
You can read as many books as possible on how to run an event, but you will never be good at running events until you've ran events. Like you can't become an expert at something unless you've gone to do it, because it's by doing that you get the experience. And you can read as much as possible, but without experience, you're just not going to win.
We've just done 5 episodes and all of that stuff is really, really important, but we can't teach you everything. There's so much more. And as we said in episode 2, so much of this comes down to mindset, comes down to confidence and the willingness to throw yourself in and to try. So now that you have listened to everything that we think that it's going to require, what we need you to do is actually go out and do it. Because the reason that we're sat here right now, the reason that we're creating this content is because we want you to be successful. Like we don't do this for fun. The reason that this is free is because we want people to actually use it and actually create and actually make something successful. We know that by giving, so on the selfish side of it, every time we get a DM or there's a success story from you guys, that is absolutely amazing for us. We love that. Also, we know that if we give you as much value as we possibly can, that will build our audience. You will share this podcast with other people, which will help us grow. The more numbers that we have on the podcast, the more we're able to charge for our speaking gigs. So on a selfish sense, it helps us as well. Our mission is to help people be more happy. Like we just want people to be more happy and successful. If you are happy and Netflix is your thing, then that's absolutely cool. You're not our target audience. But we know that the people who listen to this show, they know that there's something there. Like the fact that this show is called Creative Rebels, and a lot of people relate to that, and they send us a message going, oh, the only reason I started listening is because it said Creative Rebels, and I felt like that was me. I was that rebel. Like what? Like why are we rebels? Like this should be the norm. This should be the standard.
It's like stop spending your life doing things you don't care about. If you're in that situation where you're not that person, you're not happy, you're not fulfilled in what you're doing, now's the time to do it. Like the internet, everything we've talked about in the past few episodes is like, it's what you need to do to become successful. It's what you need to do to get happy, to be fulfilled, to follow that creative passion that you've wanted to follow for a long time, but you've just not made that little tip over the edge yet.
Yeah, that makes me want to talk about Eminem. So there's that famous song where he talks about you only get one shot. That is absolute bullshit. Like whatever, if you've listened to all 5 episodes, you put it all into practice and and your project totally fails, that's absolutely fine, because what you will have learned from trying it is absolutely fucking huge. You've then got another shot. You've got as many fucking shots as you give yourself of the confidence of like, I'm going to try again. Let me try something else. Let me pivot. Let me slightly adjust. What you have one shot at is your fucking life. If you spend it unhappy, miserable, doing something that you do not care about, like that you've wasted your shot.
Yeah. The worst thing that can ever happen in life is to regret something. And the last thing you want is to be like fucking 90 and be like, I wish I did that. I was miserable all my life. I wasn't happy. I didn't go and do those things. And now I fucking regret it. And you can't take that back. Like, there's no such thing as time travel. You only have one shot at life to make sure your life is filled with things that make you happy, make you fulfilled, like give you purpose, like make you like the person that you want to be.
Yeah, we believe in you. We've only been doing this podcast for a year, and some of the messages that we've got have been absolutely incredible, and it just shows what people are capable of if they actually start applying themselves, they start learning, and they get themselves out of their comfort zone and just try.
And one thing we found really, really important is community, and it's something that we want to grow further and further. There's so many of you who message us all the time, and we want to connect you guys. So we want for next year for you guys to use the hashtag Creative Rebels on everything that you do as a way to be accountable for what you're doing. So you've got everyone else can support each other. It's like we want everyone who's sat at home now listening on their own to feel a part of a community, to feel like they can talk to each other. Like all of you guys know so much and you can help each other out so much. So we want everyone to support each other. Like we want you to look at the hashtag, see what everyone else is doing and support them and give them advice and tips from things that you've learned. Like if you all come together, you can make something amazing happen. Like one person might have learned something this week that could help someone else. And it's like only through learning through other people, like everything that's ever happened in life has happened before. Like anyone who's starting a business, it's happened before. Like everyone follows the same path. Everyone learns the same lessons. So if you can learn from each other, it's just going to massively shortcut that process and make you getting to happiness, you getting to fulfillment, you getting to success so much quicker.
Yeah, it's the one thing we felt has been missing is that we're getting all of these emails from people and we're helping them and we're writing back and we're thinking, but this is just our opinion and it might be so much more useful if they could ask other people for help. So if you use the hashtag Creative Rebels, we're going to be checking it regularly. If we see cool work, we're going to repost it. This is predominantly on Instagram, but you can use it on other platforms too. And whenever we're on those platforms, we'll have a look and see what's going on.
Every month we'll collate our favorite creators and people on their journey and help promote them and help share their journey to everyone else who's following.
Yeah, we're going to do some weird things as well. If we see people that we think could benefit from like a one-on-one call or coming into the studio if they're London based, then we're going to be offering that sort of stuff out as well. So it will just be a way for you guys to get our support and for you to all support each other, because it's starting to get to the stage now where we're getting so many DMs that we're kind of struggling to get back to people. So we want everyone within the community to help each other.
Especially like sharing skills and stuff. Like if you need a videographer, you search the hashtag and just see if there's one on there who's also a part of the community that you can help each other on and grow together.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's see where we can take this. So hashtag Creative Rebels on any projects that you're working on, stuff that you're proud of, stuff that you want other listeners to the podcast to see. And we'll see where it goes, see where it takes us.
If you've got any benefit from this series, like please share it with someone else who you know might benefit from it too.
Yes, we'd love it if you could share this little mini series of how to start a project. And if you like this, click subscribe because we'll be putting more similar videos out soon.
See ya.